Okay, so we are starting this module guidelines answers, and it is December 19 answers. So here question number 2 that has already appeared coming to our examination. That is, question is, in year 2017 SEBI has constituted a committee on corporate governance under the chairman of Uday Kotak, we know, and the aim of improving standards of corporate governance of listed companies in India. Now we need to list out the recommendations given by that committee. We know कि corporate governance के case में what recommendation they had given. They had given recommendations related to independent director, also CSR committee, nomination remuneration committee. These all are the things. Now let's give into the much detail of this. Like in 2017, SEBI has constituted a committee on corporate governance under the chairmanship of Uday Kotak, aimed to improving the corporate governance standard, and the recommendation is basically that the composition and role of the BOD, that is minimum number of directors on a board, means what all are the minimum number of directors in a board is required, also gender diversity, also attendance, quorum, and minimum number of board meetings that are to be held in a year, also maximum number of directorship a person can hold. Now the institution of independent director, that is minimum numbers of independent directors, also what all are the eligibility criteria for independent directors, what is the minimum composition of the independent directors, who is the lead independent director, casual vacancy of independent directors, and so on. These all are the things that have been recommended by Mr. Uday Kotak committee under the chairmanship of Mr. Uday Kotak. Now the board committee, that is the composition of the board role, audit committee, nomination and remuneration committee, stakeholder relationship committee, also to enhance the monitoring group companies, that is obligation on the board of the listed company with respect to subsidiaries, secretarial audit, and so on. Now the promoters, controlling shareholders, and RTP, that is disclosure and approval of RTP, royalty and brand payment of related party. Now remuneration to executive promoter, directors and non-executive directors, etc. Now the disclosure and transparency pertaining to submission of annual reports, disclosure pertaining to credit rating, disclosure pertaining to directors, disclosure that is pertaining to disqualification of directors, also disclosures pertaining to subsidiary accounts, and prior information to the board meeting to discuss board issue, disclosure on the website. So all these things, they have been recommended. Now the accounting and audited related issues, that how accounts and audit needs to be done, audit qualification, what all are, independent external opinion by the auditors, also group audits, quarterly financial controls, internal financial control, IND AS adoptions, also disclosure of audit fee of auditors. Now investors participation in the meeting of listed entities, that is the timeline for AGM in listed entities, e-voting and webcast of proceedings of the meetings, also the treasury stock stewardship code, that and governance aspect of public sector enterprise. So what is the governance aspect of that enterprise, and leniency mechanism, means what is a leniency mechanism, and capacity building in SEBI for enhancing corporate governance and listing entity. Now in its board meeting on March 27th, SEBI, after detailed consideration and due deliberation, accepted several recommendations of Kotak committee without any modification, and accepted a few other recommendations with certain modifications as to timelines for implementation, applicability, threshold, among others. Now we have question number 2, that is, if we could write only 5 to 6 points, that would be even enough in this question. Now what is the mission of Internal Corporate Governance Network Incorporated, and what is the purpose of this? We have certainly read this question before, but okay, this is the answer. Now the Internal Corporate Governance, founded in 1995, and it is not an NPO, basically limited by guarantee and not having share capital under the laws of England and Wales. Now International Corporate Governance Network mission is basically to promote effective standards of corporate governance and investors' stewardship to advance efficient markets and sustainable economies worldwide. So basically, the mission is basically to promote effective standards on corporate governance. What all are the effective standards on corporate governance? To promote such, and also investors' stewardship to advance efficient markets and sustainable economies worldwide. Now, worldwide they want to what they want to do is that investor stewardship means investors का कोई guardian to advance and efficient markets. Okay, so the ICGN position means international corporate governance positions are guided by international corporate governance, global governance principles and global stewardship principles, which were first published in 2003 and as a statement on shareholder stewardship responsibility, both of which are implemented by the influence policy by providing a reliable source of investor opinion on governance and stewardship. Also connect peers at global event to enhance dialogue between the companies and investors around the long-term value creation. Now, we need to inform dialogue through education to enhance the professionalism of governance and stewardship practices. Now we have this International Corporate Governance Network has 4 primary purposes. That is, first, to provide an investors-led network for exchange of views and information about corporate governance issues internationally. To provide an investor-led network. Investors-led network for exchange of views so that they can share their views, information on corporate governance related issues internationally on a global level. And also to examine the corporate governance principles and practice, what all are the corporate governance principles and practices that need to be examined, and also to develop and encourage adhere to corporate governance standards and guidelines. To develop and encourage adherence to corporate governance standards and guidelines, and also to generally promote good corporate governance. To promote good corporate governance, also to develop and encourage adherence to corporate governance standards and guidelines. So first is to एक इन्वेस्टर लेड नेटवर्क बनाना ताकि वो न्यूज़ व्यूज़ शेयर कर सके. सेकेंड इज़ कि कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस के प्रिंसिपल्स को प्रैक्टिसेस को एग्जामिन करना, ऑल्सो डेवलप करना, इंकरेज करना, एडहेरेंस कि एडहेयर करना तो कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस स्टैंडर्ड्स को फॉलो करना, गाइडलाइंस को फॉलो करना, एंड डेवलप करना, इंकरेज ऑल्सो करना. So also to generally promote good corporate governance. So basically it is a general thing that they have right there, that to promote a good corporate governance, that we can write in any day. Now question number 2 part C is that to protect the interest of the stakeholders, SEBI has taken various initiatives, and Code of Fair Disclosure is one of the important step under Regulation 8 of SEBI Insider Trading Regulation 2015. What do we need to prepare? A note code for the fair disclosure. So SEBI has taken initiatives. So what all are the various initiatives we need to discuss here in this question? Now the answer is note on Code of Fair Disclosure. So what are the fair disclosure that need to be made as per the SEBI guidelines? So Regulation 8 of the SEBI Prohibition of Insider Trading Regulation 2015, that is the board of directors of every company whose securities are listed on a stock exchange. Means a board of directors of a listed company shall formulate and publish on its official website a code of practice and procedure for fair disclosure of unpublished price sensitive information. Means basically the POD of the listed company shall have to formulate and publish on its official website a code of practice and procedure for fair disclosure. Means code of practice. What all are the code of practice and procedure for fair disclosure for UPSI, and it would follow in order to adhere each of the principles set down Schedule A to Regulation on Prohibition of Insider Trading without violating the provisions of in any matter. So also this provision intend to require that every company whose securities are listed on stock exchange has to formulate a stated framework and also the policy for a fair disclosure of events and occurrence that could impact price discovery in the market or for its security. So we could write that point also, that the principles such as equality or for access of information, publication of policies such as those on dividends, inorganic growth, pursuit, calls and meetings with analytics, publications of transcript of such calls and meetings and like are set out in the schedule to regulation of prohibition of insider trading. Now every such code of practices means that code they have made and the principles they have established for UPSI, that every such code and practices and procedure for fair disclosure for UPSI, every amendment thereto shall be promptly intimated to the SEBI where securities are listed. Okay, so this provision aimed at requiring transparent disclosure of the policy formulated means this provision is basically for the transparent disclosure of the policy formulated in sub-regulation, means regulation 8 sub-regulation 1 2015 of SEBI prohibition of insider trading regulation. Now basically in all this para what they have said that every company has to, जिस किसी का listed company उनके BOD को क्या करना है, अपनी ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट पे एक कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट, एक कोड ऑफ प्रैक्टिस प्रोसीजर फेयर डिस्क्लोजर का UPSI का मेंशन करना है, उसको अडेयर करना है, उसके बारे में बताना है स्टॉक एक्सचेंज को, और अगर कुछ प्रैक्टिस होती है, कोई अमेंडमेंट होती है, कोई चेंज होता है, दैन SEBI को प्रॉम्प्टली इन्फॉर्म करना है इन दैट रिगार्ड. सो ट्रांसपेरेंट डिस्क्लोजर रखना है. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स विद वी हैव लर्नड so far. Now schedule A of regulation 8 sub-regulation 1, that is principle of fair disclosure for the purpose of code of practice and procedure for fair disclosure of UPSI. Now prompt public disclosure of UPSI information that would impact price discovery to no sooner than credible and concrete information comes into being in order to make such information generally available, means prompt public disclosure of UPSI. So that would impact price discovery and it is credible and concrete confirmation when coming to the market and it generally impact the share price. Now uniform and universal dissemination of UPSI also need to be considered to avoid selective disclosure. We could avoid selective disclosure and uniform and universal dissemination of UPSI has to be maintained. Now designation of a senior officer as a chief investor relation officer to deal with dissemination of information and disclosure of UPSI, that is designation of senior officer as a chief investor and relation officer to deal with dissemination of information and disclosure of UPSI. Also prompt dissemination of UPSI that gets disclosed selectively inadvertently to otherwise to make such information generally available. Now appropriate and fair response to the query, news reports and requests for the verification of market rumors by regulatory authorities. Now ensuring that the information shared with analytics and research personnel is not UPSI, means जो analytics के साथ research के साथ share किया, that is not a UPSI. Also developing best practices, this is something important, that we need to develop a best practices to make transcription or records of proceeding of meetings with analytics and other investors relations conference to the official website to ensure official confirmation and documentation. You could write this like developing best practices to make transcription of records proceeding meeting with analytics and other investors relation conference on the official website to ensure official confirmation and document disclosure made. Now handling of unpublished price sensitive information on a need to know basis. So we have to go for the question number 2, alternative questions. So we are moving that. It is some sort of practical questions we are checking out. So let's go one by one. Like KLM is 64th board meeting held on 30th June. Okay, has constituted a risk management committee with the objective of mitigating risk recommendations and prevention measures, comparison to independent director and a whole-time director. Okay. Now, in the first meeting of the committee held on 6 July 2019, the whole-time director could not be present and sought the leave of the absence. Okay, so what all are the present? That is only independent director. Now, the board proposal about the constitution was silent in respect of the chairman of the committee and the quorum of the meeting of the committee. Now, the remaining two members are the senior most director present, and the meeting was selected as chairman of the committee. Okay, now the committee also approved the policy of systematic risk management. Whether the decision of the committee is valid. So tell me your opinion, is it valid or not? I think it should be valid. Here, now let's check out that what all are the secretarial standard in that case. See, इतने बड़े क्वेश्चन का इतना छोटा आंसर. Secretarial standard deals with the meeting of the BOD. Secretarial standard deal with the meeting of the secretarial standard. Okay, it doesn't work. Secretarial standards deal with the meeting of the BOD, and clause 3.5 of secretarial standard, it's very light, relates to the meeting of the committee provided as under. Now, the unless otherwise stipulated in the act or articles under any law, quorum of the meeting constituted by the board shall be specified. Oh my god, what is made? According कोई भी design बना लेता है हम. Shall be specified by the board if such no quorum is specified. Now, the presence of all members of any such meeting is necessary means if no such quorum is specified, so the presence of all members of such committee is necessary to form the quorum. It is important line here. Where one person is absent, whole-time director. Now they want कि अगर कुछ भी specify नहीं है, कुछ law में specify नहीं है, article में specify नहीं है, किसी भी law में specify नहीं है, then सारे members का presence होना चाहिए. That is the specification. Now, in the general given case, KLM Limited is mentioned in the question itself. The board proposal about the constitution was silent with respect to chairman of the committee and also the quorum of the committee. Now, since the quorum was not specified, hence SS1, where no quorum is specified, the presence of all members of such committee is necessary to form the quorum. Now, therefore, the meeting held was risk management without presence of the adequate quorum. In the view of this decision taken by is also invalid. Although if we look at it the first tense, it seems like that it is valid, but as per this, it is invalid. Okay. So here we need to remember company law name. Company law knowledge is required. Now, the big investors and FIIs etc. engage in proxy advisory firm to get important information and recommendation which lead to protect the interest and safeguard. Okay, now we need to prepare the reasons for engaging the proxy advisory firm. Second question I'm also getting out that like compliance management is the most important part of any business. Risk of non-compliance we can also write. Anything we can write in this exam, in this question. So let's check out both the answers of both the questions and let's wind up. Okay, it is so now. The proxy advisory firm are basically independent research outfits and evaluate the pros and cons of the corporate matters such as mergers, acquisitions, stock appointments and CEO pays, where the shareholders are expected to vote on EGM and court-convened meeting. Now, the institution and investors contract with these firms to carry out comprehensive review of voting proposals and that the investors themselves have neither the time nor the resources to undertake. Now, these are the few reasons why institutional investors engage proxy advisories. Now, the proxy advisories generally offer a variety of services. What they give consists of both analyzing and proposal of general meetings, recommendation of voting decisions. Now, the recommendation of the proxy advisors basically to help the investors to obtain a more considered understanding of different agenda items and to arrive at the informed voting decisions, allowing them to optimize their own limited resources and cast their vote in a timely and informed manner. Also, considering that the institutional investors invest in multiple companies in different industry regions across the globe, and it may not be feasible for those investors to have informed knowledge about the corporate governance and specifications of that country, and hence it may be inability to understand the need and impact of a particular agenda item. They're basically talking about the country. Now, the proxy advisory firms and proxy advisors have to combat this issue, and as well through their informed consultancy. Now, due to cross-border voting, investors may face issues in terms of language of the country, also the process. Now, the proxy advisors can assist in mitigating the language issues, as well as further they may also enable the investors to have a voting platform in case where electronic vote is a prerequisite at general meeting. Now, apart from all of the above things, general meetings across the globe may be concentrated during a certain period of a year, and therefore the investors may not be positioned to gather information and knowledge about the companies, and hence may not be in a position to take informed decision while voting. Now, the proxy service industry emerged and expanding. Proxy services industry emerged and expanding the growth of the institutional investors and shareholder activism. Now, proxy services firms plays an important role in the proxy voting system. Such firms offers valuable services, which include analyzing of the proposal for general meetings and providing voting recommendations based on their own voting policies of them or the investors' customized voting policies. Now, the proxy advisors also influence board decision making. They do a good job for politicizing the board and governance record for the firm they track, and nudging institutional investors to take a stand on governance issue. Now we have another, that is risk of non-compliance and compliance framework, which we need to discuss. Last question of this lecture, that is failing to comply with the rules and regulations specifications could have costly consequences in case of famous case Sahara. We know कि क्या consequences हुए थे Sahara case में, where we don't have proper regulations and specification. Now, the group was accused for falling of a refund of 200 billion rupees to more than its 30 million small investors that had collected through unlisted public companies of Sahara. In 2011, what has happened? SEBI ordered Sahara to refund. What has happened? Sahara refund this amount with investors to issue was not in compliance with the requirement applicable to the public offering of securities. In what happened, Mr. Subrata Roy basically उन्होंने unnecessarily Sahara केस कस में दे दिया है, but we can write this, that in 2014 Mr. Subrata Roy, the chairman of Sahara, was arrested for the said fraud. सहारा के बाद ही मिस्टर उदय कोटक की कमेटी बनी. देखो, उदय कोटक की कमेटी बनी, LODR रेगुलेशन बनी 2015 में. We have discussed this thing now. Just giving you 2017 में बनी है. Okay. But listing LODR रेगुलेशन में नो कि 2015 में आ गए, और ये जो फ्रॉड हुआ, ये फ्रॉड कब हुआ? 2014 में. So this proposal is to settle the matter was rejected by the court and SEBI. Now, thus the non-compliance with the law of land can have multi-phased consequences ranging penalties, additional phase. I know कि non-compliance से क्या हो सकता है? Reputational risk damage हो सकता है, business damage is the key to success when the company is trusted to the public. Also penalty और fine लग सकते हैं, criminal charges लग सकते हैं, potential consequences हो सकते हैं. Supply access to the market products and delays. Non-compliance across enterprises could tendering process and supply database in addition to the companies, so that plays in value on the corporate compliance may avoid doing business which the non-compliant, as they would want to ensure that they meet their own regulatory obligations. Road blocking in funding हो सकती है, the company cannot get funded even it. This is something a new topic. Road blocking and funding. Company could not get fund even at seed investment level. Even in the seed investment level, those companies are not able to, not up to date. Okay. इसकी compliance up to date नहीं है, उनको इन्वेस्टमेंट की सीड भी नहीं मिलेगी, बीज भी नहीं मिलेगा. Okay, so now these questions do we need to discuss in our next lecture. Basically इस केस में जो उन्होंने सहारा का दे दिया है रेलेवेंस केस स्टडी, it's up to you want to write or not, but I think they have discussed to write a case, I think, because highlights non-compliance. So no need to write that Sahara case. You can directly go to write the relevant part of this topic. Now question number 3, but time is not allowing us to discuss that question also. So we'll discuss only on another lecture. Thank you.